Time travel takes many forms, and today we're going to take a look at one of the classics, from the world of Doctor Who. Hey everyone! Time travel is an important part of Doctor Who, and since it is based on an alternate plane known as the time vortex, this gives us an interesting mechanism to work with, as well as the possibility of seeing what kind of things lurk within it, and speculate on them. Please consider liking, hyping and subscribing to make this video timeless. And now, without further ado, let's get started. Time travel, one of those big inventions of our time. Once we assumed we were the only civilization to have ever created it, because, advanced as they are, time travelers from alien species seem mighty rare around these parts. So we began probing into how it worked. Created by Dr. Emmett Brown and his team back in 1985, it uses a flux capacitor to create a controlled nuclear fusion reaction that simulates the environment found in the cores of dying stars, bending spacetime and ripping holes through it to travel to other regions of time. Where does it go? Don't ask me. Even experts weren't sure. Quite the unpredictable thing. Critical to our work here at the SWRC, as it allows us to meet organisms from the depths of the past and future. But it is also extremely dangerous. Get the calculations wrong, slip up with the distortion parameters and say goodbye to a continent or two. Mess with past and future things where you shouldn't have been messing, and things go south faster than you can say spec. No wonder it's regulated, but still sometimes incidents happen. In one such incident, one of our machines was commandeered by members of our staff, for purposes they no doubt saw as noble. The chain reaction caused by their actions tore apart the fabric of space-time, beginning in 19 and reaching until our present. Purple gashes wounded the skies. Alien creatures flew above, preying on people en masse. And then it just stopped. In a single instant, everything was as it had always been. The rest of the world none the wiser. Except, for those regularly assigned to time travel expeditions, including our two time bandits. Weren't alone either. They came with this guy who apparently helped save our behinds. Walked out of a weird blue box, which was strange, but hey, I've seen stranger things. Real alright first season. Anyway, this guy, something was off about them. Fast talker, said something about Reapers, fragmenting timelines and who knows what else. At least we got a name. Or well, a title. The one they used to refer to themselves. The Doctor. Quite a nice fellow, all things considered. Turned down a permanent position at the center, but at least was nice enough to explain many things during their occasional visits. Many things about their kin and about all that had been going on with that whole time business. And yeah, this takes us to the beginning. The very beginning. 13.8 billion years ago, our universe came into existence in a flash of pure information. The singularity at the core of everything, spewing out the fundamental material that would go on to create all that we know, and all that we do not. We've come to learn of other forms of existence, realms that overlap our own, and we speak today of one much like it, underlying our reality. The time vortex. As it turns out, this is where time machines pass through every time we use them. No wonder we couldn't grasp that. Even the guy in charge of creating it just had the idea incepted into his brain. Don't give me that look, go watch the movie. Anyways, as you'll imagine, the vortex is a form of reality where our laws of physics are more like suggestions of physics, as it operates under entirely different laws. It exists through everything, everywhere, all at once, same as how the Big Bang happened, and this created infinitely unique universes across all of eternity. Unlike our universe, the time vortex is characterized by 4 space dimensions rather than the 3 we are familiar with. These dimensions intersecting in constantly fluctuating angles that cause passages to form between them. stable wormholes capable of transporting energy and matter across the expanse of the vortex. Time, for its part, is not composed of a single dimension, but two, which flow in opposite directions. These arrangements create a larger-scale version of the quantum foam that is theorized to form our physical spacetime, allowing for the constant formation of artron energy, a particle similar in nature to our universe's photons, which carries energy built up from the intense spacetime distortions and fluctuations within the vortex. With quickly stabilizing dimensions and high amounts of artron energy, very soon matter started coalescing into atoms, then molecules, and then self-replicating molecules, leading to life arising in the maelstrom of time itself. This life adapted into a myriad of unique forms, such as the Reapers, vulture-like scavengers and predators that we had the misfortune of meeting and suffering during the aforementioned event. Most life in the vortex takes advantage of its curving, constantly shifting structure to move across time and space, be it in search of food or to escape from their own predators. On occasions, these passages will connect the vortex with our own universe, formed spontaneously due to small spacetime anomalies, or induced by the presence of vast amounts of energy, such as that used by the flux capacitor, or by extremely dense bodies, such as black holes, forming rifts between the vortex and our universe. Knowledge of this has brought worries regarding the integrity of our universe, since lifeforms from the vortex interacting with our past could lead to alterations in our present and future times with potentially catastrophic results. But so far, it seems no such events have taken place. That is not to say, of course, that interactions between our universes have been entirely negligible. We could spend years talking about the lifeforms found inside the vortex. But for now, we'd like to draw your attention to one species in particular, a fascinating organism that has developed unique adaptations that allow it to travel through space and time far beyond the capabilities of most known beings. The TARDIS. These higher dimensional, let's call them animals, why not? Take advantage of their morphologically unstable biomass to withstand movement through the vortex and its wormholes better than most organisms. This constantly changing and replenishing mass allows them to regenerate when damaged, or simply when they wish to, as well as letting them produce cuttings of their own biomass to reproduce. TARDISes feed directly on artron energy, utilizing it to keep their inner mechanisms working and constantly traveling through the vortex to find new regions with higher artron energy concentrations, making them somewhat like interdimensional wells. However, when they are incapable of finding this valuable resource, TARDISes will turn towards an alternate feeding method. See, millions of years ago, TARDISes developed the capacity for nuclear fusion within their bodies, accumulating and condensing gases in a process similar to the formation of stars, and with similar results, their higher dimensional nature giving plenty of space for these materials to react. As these organs became smaller, the mass they contained was compacted, allowing them to create high mass centers that allow them to bend space and time, improving their ability to travel these dimensions. As a direct step forward from this process, these organs evolved to collapse the star-like masses into a black hole, which gained a new, fascinating function. This black hole will constantly produce energy in a manner similar to the Penrose mechanism, essentially breaking down matter in a way that allows some of its components to escape the event horizon with increased energetic charge, which the TARDIS feeds on. This same mechanism is what allows young TARDISes to survive during their millennia-long maturation process, before they are capable of traveling in search of sources of artron. The TARDISes roamed the time vortex for eons in such a way, thriving in their niche until its very nature became entwined with something as alien to it as the TARDISes are to us. We've spoken already of the rifts opening between the vortex and our universe, allowing alien biota to enter our home, but completely annihilating lifeforms from our universe that aren't adapted to its conditions. One such rift opened in the middle of a rather famous constellation known as Castor Boreas, made up of 17 star systems, located near the galactic core. This rift was stable enough for some of our universe's life, seemingly unassuming, coral-like organisms, to begin adapting to its presence after millions of years, feeding on the Artron energy that leaked from the rift and growing in the unstable conditions of the vortex. Eventually, these lifeforms would begin growing on the exterior of a being from the time vortex, a TARDIS. The hard-bodied organisms would thus gain access to unending quantities of Artron, and so they kept on growing all over the bodies of the TARDISes, in the process providing the Wanderers with a more complex structural system, inadvertently allowing this Gestalt organism to traverse the three-dimensional space of our universe without their higher dimensional structure getting in the way. Even then, soon after this symbiosis began, a new advantage to the presence of the coral-like organism emerged. See, this organism had the ability to camouflage, changing its color and texture to blend in with their constantly changing environment through the presence of chromatophores in the membranes and tissues that make up its surface. Note that the TARDISes had incorporated this coral-like organism into the structure of their outer body layer. They could change into any form they desired by consciously inducing changes in the coral's chromatophores. This surprisingly high intelligence of the TARDISes means that, as they are phasing into physical space, they can quickly observe the world around them for a brief moment and quickly calculate what form they should take based on what they see, as well as where and when they seem to be. The forms they can take have an incredible degree of range, but since one of their main interests is avoiding the attention of potential predators, be them from the time vortex or from wherever or whenever they have found themselves in, they will tend to something inconspicuous, such as geological features or common objects. There was, however, one place where TARDISes were unable to blend in perfectly, faced as they were with an alien species much different than anything they had encountered before. These ones could think like them, think better than them, and act upon their thoughts in ways the TARDISes could not, and they were to be found on the very same planet where the coral that allowed them to enter our universe was, Gallifrey. Yet, I think it's better if we meet these beings at a later time. And that's it for Speculative Biology look into the TARDIS and the Time Vortex, as commissioned by Ancient Bacon. This was a fun episode because, sure, the TARDIS is by itself a very interesting thing to work on, given it is implied to be somewhat alive, and if we take it as an organism, it would need to have evolved in an environment with properties and evolutionary pressures that allowed for its ability to travel through time, which, to our unending fun, also required to look at the properties of the environment itself. And thanks to Ancient Bacon's ideas, this was an easy enough process, giving me a good basis to use to turn the elements already present in Doctor Who canon to be congealed into what you saw today. And since a lot of people have been interested in how time travel works in our series, this looked like a great mechanism to set an idea for how that works, and seemed to me like a plausible enough explanation, especially since, despite what pop culture science websites might tell you, no current mechanisms exist that would make such a thing possible. So I hope you liked this look into some fundamental forces of the universe, and let me know if you're excited to see where that is at the end is going. Big thank you to those who wanted to see this episode, and who have asked to see how time travel works in the SWRC verses. And also a premium thank you to our researchers and research associates who support us through Patreon and YouTube memberships. Remember to join in as well if you too would like to support our channel, and you get some nice perks too, like seeing all of our creatures and videos ahead of anyone else and helping mold them into shape. Or you can also like, subscribe, or write a comment telling me any type of creature you would like me to give the Spekibo treatment in the show. Any of those really help the channel a lot. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time on the Speculative Wildlife Research Center.